What is up, everybody? Welcome to Party on Broad. Our NFL draft coverage continues with an NFC 3-round mock draft. Joining me, he is Mitch Kofsky of Hardcore Sports. What's going on, Mitch?
What is up, everybody? Thank you for having me on, and let's get right into this. I'm excited.
Mitch, what team do you have today?
I have the Minnesota Vikings.
All right, he is repping the Minnesota Vikings. Down there, he is Shane Half at half_TPL. What's up, Shane?
What's up, Dibes?
What's going on, man? What team do you have today?
I have the Green Bay Packers, and let me tell you, I did not realize how screwed they were as a franchise until I started this exercise.
All right, it's going to get really fun. And then he is Ryan Reese of Philly Sports Alliance. What's going on, Ryan?
Not much. Ready to do some battle today. I got the Chicago Bears, and just pre-show, I was threatened. I won't name by who to make sure that I build around Justin Fields. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Love it, man. Let's jump right in this thing. We are using PFF's mock draft simulator. I'm assuming you guys can see that live, correct?
Yep.
All right. We are on the clock here. I've got the Detroit Lions sitting here at pick number 6. Brad Holmes and the Lions have kind of opened up their draft board this year. They addressed a lot of their top needs during free agency. They added Chicago Bears running back David Montgomery to replace Jamal Williams. You look at Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, upgrading that secondary for the Lions. That was a huge weakness for Detroit. He's 25 years old, and he's got some familiarity with the Lions staff during his time with the New Orleans Saints, head coach Dan Campbell, defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn. They also brought in Cameron Sutton to a 3-year deal, further solidifying that secondary. So let's jump right into the Detroit Lions here, picking at number 6. This one is going to be an absolute no-brainer. I think the number one need is interior defensive line for the Lions, and I don't care. I'm going to roll the dice and forget about everything I heard over the last few weeks and select Jalen Carter for the Detroit Lions. I think he's going to be a great addition alongside Aiden Hutchinson and James Houston, and I think just bulking up the lines for the Detroit Lions, that's kind of their bread and butter. Maybe that continues throughout this draft. We'll see. But the Chicago Bears are on the clock. Who's got the Bears?
I got the Bears. Little recap. The Bears were certainly busy this offseason. They originally had the number 1 pick. They traded back to number 9 with Carolina. Got some future assets. Also got number 1 wide receiver DJ Moore. They also went pretty heavy on the defense in free agency, specifically linebacker Tremaine Edmonds. They signed to a 4-year, $72 million deal. Former Eagle TJ Edwards, 3 years, almost 20. DeMarcus Walker, defensive end. Andrew Billings, D tackle. So they definitely went, heavy defense. They also brought in Robert Tonyan, though, which is a little bit of an underrated signing to go with Cole Kmet and Deonta Foreman in the backfield. So they sit there at number 9. And yeah, there are still a lot of great weapons to be had here in the first round at number 9. But I am actually, this was my plan all along. I didn't need to be threatened. But I am actually going to go with tackle Peter Skoronski. They absolutely need to build around Justin Fields. And it's a no-brainer. They have a clear need on the offensive line, and you could have your bookend for the next 10 years protecting Justin Fields and build up that line to hopefully, extend Justin Fields' career in Chicago. So, no-brainer.
All right, there it is. Peter Skoronski to the Chicago Bears, which means Shane and the Green Bay Packers are on the clock.
Yeah, so the Packers are in a really tough situation. They haven't really done anything in free agency. They're waiting on the Aaron Rodgers domino to fall. Basically, they're playing a game of chicken with the Jets right now, where Aaron Rodgers said he wants to go to the Jets, and the Jets want Rodgers, and the Packers want to get rid of Aaron Rodgers, but they both feel like they have a little bit of leverage. So they're just playing this game of chicken, waiting to see when it's going to get done. Supposedly, they're looking for a first-round pick plus for Rodgers. I think that's absurd, and any team that gives them that's just insane. I think it's more like, I think they're going to end up getting something like the second-round pick from the Jets this year for Rodgers, and maybe some sort of conditional pick the next year. So that's a huge domino that's hanging over the head of the Jets and the Packers right now. But the Packers didn't do much in free agency. They've lost guys. They lost Alan Lazard to the Jets. He was on Aaron Rodgers' must-acquire list because Aaron Rodgers spent the last 4 years complaining that the Packers didn't give him any help, and now he wants to go to a team that has receivers, and he says, hey, get all the guys that I complained about for years. They lost Jaron Reed and Dean Lowry, both defensive linemen. Reed played 68% of the snaps, and Lowry played 47% last year. So despite investing so much in defense over the last few years, the defense hasn't been good, and they've lost some big pieces. So there's a lot of needs there for the Packers. And by the way, they've got Jordan Love, who they have to decide on his fifth-year option by May 1st, and he started one game so far in his career. So they've got a lot of stuff to figure out. I don't know what they're going to do with Reed, with Love. I really don't have any idea what this team is going to do, to be honest with you. But as much as they need wide receiver, tight end help, it's Jackson Smith and Jigba's gone, right? I don't see him up there. Yeah, he went off the board.
You went to Atlanta.
Yeah. So that's where I would like to go here because they need a receiver. There's nobody else I really want to take that high. So I'm going to look at another position that they need, which is safety. Darnell Savage had an awful year for the Packers. He got benched. Then he got moved to slot corner where he actually was kind of okay. The problem is he's still the best safety on their roster. They just don't have much. And so I see Brian Branch there from Alabama, and I think that's a good fit for their defense, a guy that could be used in multiple spots and try to cover up some of the holes in that defense. So they'll go Brian Branch here at the first round at pick 15.
All right, Brian Branch to the Green Bay Packers, which means the Detroit Lions are back on the clock. The Lions have several needs here, different needs. There's one need that I think I'm going to go against, and because it's arguably one of the deepest positions in the draft, and I'm going to go a position that the Detroit Lions are very familiar with. The Lions are, they've kind of built their foundation in the trenches. They've got 3 first-round picks. They've got multiple Pro Bowlers on that offensive line. They added Graham Glasgow to kind of shore up that interior offensive line, but he's older, and I think when you have a guy that's so talented in Osiris Torrance for the Detroit Lions, that's the route I'm going to go here. The Detroit Lions are building the trenches. They've got Jalen Carter at number 6, and at 18, we're going to continue that trend on offense and add arguably the best interior offensive lineman in the draft, and that is Osiris Torrance at pick number 18. So there it is. That means Mitch, you are on the clock.
All right. So the Minnesota Vikings lost some key pieces. Adam Thielen has left, and He did go to Carolina, and apparently Adam Thielen said they're a favorite to win the Super Bowl. I don't understand that at all. Yeah, he tweeted that out like last week. But yeah, so there's that. And Patrick Peterson did leave, and he went to Pittsburgh. So with that being said, I'm probably going to go wide receiver here. If you can go to the wide receiver position, please. Okay.
You bet.
Oh, give me Zay Flowers from Boston College.
Oh, man. Love me some Zay Flowers. He's my number 2 wide receiver in the class, man.
Oh, who's your number 1?
My number 1 is Jackson Smith and Jigba, who went to the Falcons. I think was that top 10? I think it was top 10.
Yeah, it was number 8.
Or 8, I'm sorry, to Atlanta.
Yep. So well done, Mitch. The Green Bay Packers are back on the clock with pick number 45, Shane.
Okay. Will you show me the offensive tackles, please?
You bet.
I want to see who's there.
Ooh, not great.
Yeah, that's not great. Okay, then I would like to look at wide receivers / maybe tight ends too. But actually, that's cool. I didn't realize you could put them in there together. Show me the wide receivers and tight ends together.
Oh, and tight ends?
Yes.
You got it.
So the Packers need a weapon. Alan Lazard, I mentioned, is gone. Robert Tunyon's gone. And those were the number 1 and number 3 guys in receiving yards for the Packers last year. Christian Watson started to come on at the end of the year, but he's going to be working with a new quarterback now. The only other guy on their roster that had over 400 receiving yards that's coming back is Romeo Doubs, who was also a rookie last year. So they need all kinds of help at the position, or they need some weapons for Jordan Love. And so I'm going to take a guy that I'm way higher on than PFF, and that's Darnell Washington, the tight end out of Georgia. I think he's a fantastic blocker, obviously with a quarterback that, essentially is a 4th-year rookie quarterback. They're going to want to run the ball. They do still have good running backs in Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, so they're going to try to run behind their line. I think he'll help with that, and I think he's got fantastic athletic upside, so hopefully he can become a reliable weapon for Jordan Love.
All right. Man, the Detroit Lions are kind of upset because they were definitely looking hardcore at Darnell Washington there at pick number 48. So here we go. The Lions are back on the clock. Going to kind of skim who is available here. We've addressed the trenches with our first 2 picks. I'm going to make this one pretty easy here, and I'm going to go with Sam Laporta, tight end out of Iowa. I think that's just such a huge need. He ran the 3rd fastest time of any tight end at the scouting combine, has all the tools to be a big-time middle-of-the-field producer in the NFL. Really good hands. I compare him to kind of a Heath Miller. I think he's a great day 2 selection. And that means the Chicago Bears, Ryan, are on the clock.
All righty. Can you show me? Well, actually, you don't need to. Just go down a slight bit because I'm sure the guy I'm thinking about is probably there. Yeah. I'm gonna take. Too far. And there we go. I'm going to take center Joe Tippmann from Wisconsin. Again, building up the line. I think this is a great value here in the middle of the 2nd round to grab another potentially starting offensive lineman to go along with Skoronski from the 1st round. Again, they have a few weapons around. Obviously, getting DJ Moore really helps. So now let's see him with a little protection. And again, moving forward, you potentially just got 2 out of 5 offensive linemen for hopefully in the next 10 years for Justin Fields.
All right. The Detroit Lions are back on the clock. I'm going to make this pretty easy. I'm going to go Hendon Hooker, quarterback at pick number 55 for the Detroit Lions, adding some depth here. He was one of the biggest winners of last college football season until he got hurt. He needs to improve out of the pocket. He's an older prospect, He's 25 years old, recovering from a torn ACL, but I think he's got really intriguing upside, and I'm going to go Hendon Hooker here. The Chicago Bears are on the clock at pick 61.
Ooh, okay. All right. I'm again going to stay on the offensive side. I'm going to take Zach Charbonnet right before the Eagles can do it. They added Foreman, but they lost Montgomery, so they still have Khalil Herbert, Travis Homer, but they could really use a guy to be the true number one there. So Zach Charbonnet. Oh snap! I'm back on the clock.
Yeah, don't go far. You're back on the clock.
Oh my gosh! Just too many picks. I did not expect all these picks. It's not terrible. Yeah, you know what? I will go with Garrett Williams, corner out of Syracuse. They definitely could use another cornerback there. Their safeties are pretty set. I think another corner in that room would be most helpful as they built up their linebackers. Now they just need another corner. So,
all right, love it, man. Green Bay Packers, Shane, you're on the clock.
Okay, scroll over to the wide receivers for me.
Yes, sir.
And you're going to have to scroll down because PFF's a little low on him. But we're going to take Marvin Mims, wide receiver out of Oklahoma. Mims is just he's just a solid player overall. He's a good route runner, creates good separation. He's got good run after the catch ability. He was used in the slot a lot at OU. He's kind of a vertical threat out of the slot. And like I said, the Packers need weapons for their offense. Their top three players who took snaps in the slot last year were Randall Cobb. He's a free agent. Alan Lazard is a Jet. Robert Tonyan, I think he's also a Jet. I don't remember if he went to the Jets, but he's gone. So the top three guys that took snaps in the slot for them last year are all gone. They need somebody. Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs are more outside guys. So they're going to take another receiver here, another weapon for Jordan Love.
Love it. All right. The Detroit Lions are on the clock. We will recap all of our picks at the end of the day. I just want to see where we're at with a couple of positions that I think are big for the Detroit Lions at pick number 81. That is linebacker, and that is cornerback. We didn't address cornerback, which is a big need. Yeah, they addressed some needs in the secondary, but down the road, they still need a lot of help. Travius Hodges-Tomlinson is an interesting guy. Super, super small. I'm going to skim this real quick. DJ Turner. Let's go DJ freaking Turner out of Michigan for the Detroit Lions. He's a really intriguing, versatile prospect that blew up at the NFL Scouting Combine. Was absolutely dynamic, can play safety, can play corner, can play slot, can play the boundary. I'm going to go with a really toolsy guy in DJ Turner for the Lions there, just to add some more youth in the secondary. Mitch, you are on the clock.
I was hoping him to drop to me for the Vikings.
Ah.
That's like, dang it. You knew Michigan players over there in Detroit.
Yeah, he's going to love him some Aiden Hutchinson there in Detroit, man.
Oh, my God, yeah. I mean, I've been watching them all season long. Great picks. Can we go to cornerback, please?
Yep.
We need a replacement for Patrick Peterson. And I think I wish I could take Tomlinson, but he's just so short. How tall is he again? Is he like, what, 5? How tall is he? He's got to be up there, right?
5'8".
5'8", yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work, so.
He is first percentile height, first percentile arm length, 5th percentile weight.
Dang, he's going to drop so far down. Oh, my God. You know what?
He's a gamer. He's a gamer.
He is. You know what? I really like Jalen Jones out of Texas A&M. I really think that would be a nice fit. over for Michigan. I'm not Michigan. Oh my God, Minnesota.
All right, there it is. All right, so we are done with our 3-round mock. I'll go real quick with the Lions, and I'll throw it to you, Mitch. Jalen Carter at pick 6. I think that's a no-brainer for the Lions. That's their biggest need. And value-wise, he's my number 1 player on my big board personally, even though he's getting a lot of slack lately. We continue to address the O-line, the trenches with Osiris Torrance out of Florida. 1A, 1B, depending on how you view Skoronski, year 1 in the NFL, at pick number 18. And then, wait, how do we get, where's full results?
Click that full results. Yeah.
There we go. All right. And then we go down a little bit further, and the Detroit Lions added Sam Laporta, BPA at tight end, just to add a few more pages to that offensive playbook. They don't really have great options there, and I think that's a good fit for them moving forward. Hendon Hooker is an interesting pick for the Lions. They need depth at quarterback. Hendon Hooker, I hope he recovers well because he was dynamic for Tennessee. And then we wrapped it up with DJ Turner, a cornerback, versatile cornerback with elite athleticism at pick number 81. Anybody have any quick thoughts on the Detroit Lions 3-round mock?
Yeah, I think that's good. Getting Jalen Carter would be huge for that defense. Obviously, they have Aiden Hutchinson from last year on the edge, and so putting Jalen Carter right next to him, I think, would be a perfect fit to help out a defense that really struggled last year. So they were pretty bad against the run. They were just kind of bad in general as a defense. So infusing some talent into that defense would be really good for them.
All right. Let's go into let's do the Minnesota Vikings real quick. The Minnesota Vikings selected Zay Flowers, one of my favorites, with pick number 23. And what was the next pick? It was
Jalen Jones.
87.
Yeah.
They didn't have a second round pick?
No.
Jesus. All right. And then Jalen Jones in the 3rd round. We'll get there. It's somewhere here.
Right there.
There it is. Pick number 87, Jalen Jones, quarterback out of Texas A&M. Any thoughts on your mock, Mitch?
Honestly, Zay Flowers is right there for the taking. I had to get there. Him next to Justin Jefferson after Thielen is gone. And then Jalen Jones, I think he'll be a good fit next to God, I'm forgetting his name every freaking time. What is it? Byron Murphy. There it is. So I think that'll be a good fit next to Byron Murphy.
I like the fit with Zay Flowers. You know, all the attention goes to Jefferson when you just involve Zay Flowers on a ton of pre-snap movement, get him moving around in that backfield. He'd be tough to catch. Anybody else have any thoughts on the Vikings draft?
Yeah, didn't have a lot to work with, but got 2 decent pieces to add to the Vikes, man. Good job.
All right. Let's move on to the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears added Peter Skoronski at pick number 9. Big need for the Bears. Then they didn't have any other first-round picks, right? No. And then in the 2nd round, the Chicago Bears added one of my favorites, Joe Tippmann, interior offensive lineman out of Wisconsin at pick number 53. Zach Charbonnet at pick 61 out of UCLA. Again, another one of my favorites. And then Garrett Williams, a cornerback out of Syracuse at pick 64. And that wraps it up. Any thoughts, Ryan?
Yeah, listen, they added a lot on the defensive side through free agency. And they were able to acquire DJ Moore. So, I think adding another weapon in Charbonnet would be huge to kind of replace what they lost in Montgomery. And, building up that offensive line for them only strengthens, Justin Fields, and to truly see if he is the guy. And it seems like he is, and might as well surround him with some talent and some protection. So,
Anybody else have any thoughts on the Bears draft?
Love to see him get some offensive line help. Big fan of that.
Yeah, man. I love the idea of Tippmann, Skoronski on the offensive line, especially when you add a Zach Charbonnet, who could dominate in those short yardage situations. Really like those picks. Let's go on to the Green Bay Packers at pick number 15. Brian Branch, one of my favorites, out of Alabama. In the second round, the Green Bay Packers added Darnell Washington at pick number 45 out of Georgia. And then in the third round, the Green Bay Packers added Marvin Mims, another big-time playmaker, athletic profile. You have a type, Shane, at pick number 78. What are your thoughts on the picks?
Yeah, I mean, I think they just need weapons for Jordan Love. Like, that's the whole thing of this draft, and you've got to decide quickly on Jordan Love. I don't know if you pick up the fifth-year option or not, but you cannot get to the end of 2023 and not be sure about what you have. And so I would have liked to have gotten like Jackson Smith and Jigba if he fell in the first round, but since he didn't, get a safety to help that defense. But it's really just all about evaluating Love this season.
When I think of like Darnell Washington and Marvin Mims, I think of two of the best in this draft when it comes to contested catches. Like those two are just dominant when it comes to bringing down those 50-50 balls. Really good draft. So that basically wraps up our 3-round mock. I'll throw it down to you first, Ryan Reese. Where can we find you, man? Thanks for joining. Final thoughts. What do you got going on there at Philly Sports Alliance?
Yeah, me and you have probably done about 8,000 mock drafts this offseason. I hope that we continue to do about 8,000 more by the time the draft actually gets here. So anytime I can hop on, and even if it's non-Eagles related, I'm in. So these are a lot of fun. It's nice to kind of take a different look at some other teams that maybe you normally wouldn't, and see kind of where their heads are at. Just looking over their offseason and what their needs are. So it's a really nice perspective to look at other teams this way. So always enjoy doing this. As far as you can find me, right down here, Philly Sports PSA on Twitter. Obviously, Philly Sports Alliance everywhere, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, whatever. Make sure you like, follow, share, subscribe. We do appreciate all of it. And yeah, the best place is Facebook. Put on those automatic notifications so that way you know when we go live.
Love it, man. He is Shane Haff, one of the best Eagles NFL follows, period, on Twitter. If you aren't following him, you'll thank me later. Shane, where can we find you, man? Final thoughts.
I'm laughing at Ryan pointing the wrong direction down there.
I'm in the right direction. This is my right direction. I'm doing it right. All right.
I don't know, not on my screen, but anyway, yeah, you can follow me on Twitter for now at _TPL till Elon takes my check mark on April 1st, and then I'm going to change my username. I've been locked into this username ever since I got verified, but that's going to go away next week, so I'll have my new tag out there. But yeah, follow me on Twitter, follow me on YouTube. Putting out a lot of draft content. I have finally finished all my scouting reports. I'm going to finalize my big board and start putting out videos for my top 100 leading up to the draft. So you can stay tuned on Twitter or YouTube for that as well.
Awesome stuff, man. And then we've got Mitch Kofsky of Hardcore Sports. Mitch, final thoughts. Where can we find you, man?
So, excuse me. You can find me on YouTube at Mitch Topsy, Hardcore Sports Network, and Twitter at Mitch Topsy, and Hardcore Sports Network everywhere. We're growing rapidly fast. We're almost at 400 already. So thank you guys, and join the ride.
Love it, love it, love it. This week, we are covering tight ends. Is that correct, Shane?
Yes.
We are covering one of the deepest positions in the draft, bar none. Some say the most talented group of tight ends in a long, long time. So be on the lookout for that. Been doing a ton of draft coverage. I'm not even going to attempt to try and break that down. Yesterday, I did a wide receiver final big board. rankings of my favorite wide receivers. That was really hard to do because I probably changed that about 5 different times. So if you want, go check that out. Follow my man Mitch on Twitter at Mitchkovsky. He is Shane at _TPL, and that is Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA. For Mitch, for Ryan, for Shane, for myself, thanks for watching, guys. Stay awesome, everyone.